people don't know you exist, they don't know how to book you. So visibility is so important. If you're not showing up on social media and Google Maps, people actually don't know you exist. That's the truth. Welcome back to Marketing Made Iconic. Today we're doing something a bit different, a Q&A episode where I answer your most common questions from you, the tourism operators out there. Because whether you're running a boutique stay, a food tour, a wellness retreat, or a wildlife attraction, the challenges are surprisingly similar. Low season, visibility, pricing, reliance on OTAs, time. So let's dive into your questions. And more importantly, I will answer and let you know the strategies that actually work. Okay, question 1 is about low season. Our biggest challenge is low season. How do we get bookings during low season? This is the number one question I hear. And here's the shift. You don't wait for low season to fix low season. You promote during peak and mid seasons to fill future gaps. So here's a few suggestions and strategies that you can make happen. Pre-booking incentives. So during peak season, you want to encourage guests to lock in their next visit for the off season with a perk. Maybe a bonus night, a free bottle of wine, or a discounted package. Make it compelling. Memberships or bundles can work really well. Offering repeat packages like a 3-tour pass or a seasonal stay membership that guarantees bookings even when the demand dips through that low season. Gift vouchers. Promote experiences as gifts during holidays or events, which then often get redeemed in the quieter months. Lead gen in low season. This is something you'll hear me talk about a fair bit. You want to use those quieter times to capture emails through campaigns and think things like locals night, small giveaways, collabs. And these leads will convert when peak demand returns. Second question. I just want to give you an example of a locals campaign that a local Port Stephens business runs through to basically build that demand through the low season. Is a really good idea. They actually have a loyalty app where locals can, I think it's 15% off. Locals can get 15% off, and it's basically accessed through the app so they can build up their points based on their spend with them. And then those points they can redeem, but they also get their 15% off. So this not only encourages your local community to rally around you and your business, it also is a really key strategy for that low season for you. I hope that helps, but if you want specific, bespoke advice and strategies about your business, just feel free to reach out at elliemarketing.com.au. Okay, question 2. Why aren't people booking? My experience. We have a great offering, but we know we could be doing more. This is also something that's really common. People know they have a really good experience. So you have a good stay, a good tour experience, a good food experience, but why aren't people booking? And it's usually one of two things: visibility and user experience. So if people are booking on your website, or if you're reliant on bookings on your website, and by the way, when I say reliant on bookings on your website, you should absolutely have people booking on your website. It just is a no-brainer, and it increases the opportunity that you have to be able to receive bookings and take guests and visitors. So visibility and user experience. Practically speaking, when we think about user experience on your website, the booking button has to be clear, visible, and work on mobile too. So across the board, around 70% of bookings happen on mobile. It's a very unique pocket of businesses where their desktop views or bookings when people use their desktop devices is actually more than mobile. So for the most part, people actually want to book their holiday experience on their mobile. So a couple of things there. Needs to be really clear on how people can book, and it needs to be suitable for mobile and provide a good user experience on mobile as well. Some people can look at their website and not see that it doesn't flow properly, or maybe you do look at your website and you're seeing, I know this doesn't make sense, but I don't know how to make sense out of it. You want to call on experts like us at Ellie Marketing to review that for you and tell you what that looks like. And it might require a new website build. I have seen a lot of legacy websites recently that you just have to update your website every few years. It's a good investment and it is your working engine. It's not only the face of or the digital face of your business, but you need to make it work for you. It's your working engine to take your booking. Okay, the other thing around your website is to simplify your checkout flow. So as well as that user experience and getting people to know where to go to actually book, when they start the booking process, that checkout has to be very seamless. If it takes more than 2 to 3 clicks, you'll lose people. On your website as well, when I say make it work for you, it's your engine. Add social proof like testimonials, a Google reviews feed, UGC, user-generated content built into that. So you could have your Instagram feed on there where you're sharing your UGC. Adding that creates proof, right? Proof that your experience is great, that people are experiencing it currently, and what that experience looks like, not from your point of view as the business owner and the people that run the business, but from your customers. So the other point around visibility, a lot of small business owners think that if they have a website, they're visible. So that's not true. And you have to work to get visibility these days. So you need to be showing up on social media, Google, potentially Google Maps too. If you have a local business where people come, where a lot of you will, you need to have a really strong Google profile and so that you show up on Google Maps. Otherwise, people simply don't know that you exist. Now, I'm going to say that again because people don't know you exist. They don't know how to book you. So visibility is so important. If you're not showing up on social media and Google Maps, people actually don't know you exist. That's the truth. Okay, we got question 3. I don't know which marketing activities to focus on. Where should I be? The answer definitely isn't everywhere. It is about focus, and there's so many different options these days. And I know a lot of the digital channels just change every few months, and it's really hard to figure out where you should be focusing. So first off, you want to pick your core channel. You also, before you're picking channels, you do need a strong strategy. And I know that sounds like, oh, what's a strong strategy? This is an episode for another day, but when you have a strong strategy in place, you know where your target audience plays out. Firstly, you know who your target audience are. Again, it isn't everyone and they're not everywhere. Then you know where your target audience plays, and that's where you want to play. You want to play where your target audience plays. And then once you know that, then you can pick your core channels because you know you're going to reach your target audience there. And it's like quick wins or not even quick wins, or it's just where you are going to have the most success. So choose a platform also that your audience already uses. For example, you could focus on Instagram for retreats, Facebook for family attractions. If you're a tourism region, tourism body, Facebook, Talk for youth-focused tours. And I say that really loosely, by the way. If you look at some of the demographics on TikTok of late, It's always has been about the Gen Zs and the younger generations, but much older demographics are being engaged on TikTok these days. And there are baby boomer content creators and influencers on TikTok that have millions of followers. So TikTok is a rising channel and is great for eyes, which I also said in our last episode. So commit to one of those key social media channels and consistently post on there. This is really key for visibility. These days, a lot of the social media channels, particularly Instagram, are using keywords to help people find you, similar to Google does. So if you're on Instagram and you have a strong page, then people can find you on Google from your Instagram keywords. Another thing is to focus on one particular core channel, add a supporting campaign channel. I'd never say just focus on one thing. That's not going to get you results. It is more complicated than that these days. I wish that were the case. I wish you could say be an Instagram expert and you will get all the success in the world. And you'll see Instagram experts on Instagram just saying, here's how to nail Instagram and here's how to make a successful business on Instagram. Not for travel and tourism. You need to have a multi-channel strategy to succeed overall, get those bookings in the door and get those bums on seats and drive that revenue for you. So add at least one supportive campaign channel like email marketing. But the other really key things that are great for you to do, which drive amazing visibility for short-term, mid-term, and long-term, is partnerships and collaborations. So make sure you are building relationships with your local local friendly business owners as well. And PR is another thing that you can look into. Now, it's really just a really practical tip for you. You can batch create your content. So I would suggest if you're creating your own content, you want to obviously have a library of imagery and video footage that you can use to share on your social channels on your website. Block out at least 2 to 3 hours monthly to start planning and scheduling that content for each month so you're not scrambling each day or coming to a busy week in peak season and go, oh, I don't have time to post. It's really important to try and keep that consistency going. So block that time out. I would say probably takes more than 2 to 3 hours a month, but if you can at least start there, that will be good. Question 4 is about giveaways. Do giveaways actually work or are they just about hype? Giveaways do actually work if they're structured strategically. So here's how to make giveaways work. And we're talking the most common giveaways is to run on social media. And the most simple way to do that is to not try and do all things with your giveaway. The best use of a giveaway is to just say your goal is to increase engagement, increase followers on your social media channels. And that's a great goal because using a giveaway to do that does a few things. It creates huge FOMO, fear of missing out. So your audience, even if they don't engage in the giveaway, if they just like the post or don't care about the giveaway, they're still going to be engaged and there's going to be a sense of FOMO. Those people who go into the giveaway, you're obviously engaging with a larger amount of people than you would normally on your social media. You always, if you encourage people to do a tag as part of the entry criteria, you're also expanding that network and that community on social media, and you're getting your audience to talk about you and giving them an incentive to do. So even the people or the person that the people that don't win the giveaway, they're still going to be engaged and you will indirectly get bookings from running a giveaway off the back of that whole FOMO piece, and that increased awareness is going to make people to want to book your experience. And you have to do it well, of course. So you can capture the data, measure how many, obviously, likes, tags, and shares and things like that you get on that giveaway post. Measure how many new followers you get, and I guess notice if there's a spike in bookings at some point. But that's not the main goal here. That will potentially trickle over time, right? This is just to give that little spike in engagement. Fantastic way to do this as well, to boost it even more, and it's really simple and easy for you, is to collaborate with 1 to 2 complementary businesses. If you're a winery, you could team up with an Airbnb boutique accommodation. Or if you run a specific experience or tour, you could tee up with a cafe or restaurant and add a meal to your experiences to stack that value, and then you can cross-promote on each other's pages. Then once you get that system right, which I've just explained, you can repeat it. Not too often, but it's just such a cost-effective way to build that excitement around your brand. Okay, we have a few more. Question 5. I feel like I'm competing with OTAs. How do I win back direct bookings? So the goal here isn't to cut out OTAs completely. A lot of businesses survive off having that visibility in OTAs. And it is often the kickstart a lot of travel and tourism brands need. So you can definitely use them for visibility whilst building systems that let you own your own guests' relationship. So that's really important. And I actually run over this in quite some detail, particularly for Airbnb brands in our Elevate Tourism platform, of which there is a free trial available at the moment. And I actually explain how and take you through the steps for you to actually build your own brand outside the OT. So once you get that initial visibility and you've got those guests coming in, you can do a direct booking perk. So offer a little bonus for people to book direct next time. You obviously need some of your own channels like our website so people can book directly, all your social media and things like that. You can't just have your Airbnb listing or on all the OTAs and just rely on that alone. You need to build out all these other assets. It's great to have a bespoke brand as well. So you want to capture your guest details so that you can email them. So one of the best ways to get direct bookings, especially off the back of your OTA listings and getting a lot of initial visitors and guests through there, is to then write a thank you email inviting your guests back to book direct next time and actually telling them how to do that. It sounds really obvious now that I've said it. You probably hadn't thought about doing that. And people don't know unless you tell. Obviously, building your list, your email list along the way is really important. Capturing those emails and then setting up some touch points for those. Now, make sure you communicate clearly. Have a website, like I said, and make sure your website promotes the best price direct or some other benefit of booking directly. And people will want to support your small business. People do want to rally around that. Alrighty, question 6. How do I raise my prices without losing customers? Now, I guess it's a reality where sometimes, especially if you've been in business for a long time, you need to raise your prices. Here, it's not about the number, it's about the story. And I have a full module in Elevate Tourism where I take you through pricing models and how to build your pricing strategies, including a section on how to raise your prices, but make it sound good to the customer. So firstly, you want to communicate your value. Frame your price around that transformation they're going to have, not the transaction. For example, a weekend to reset and reconnect feels a bit different to $480 a night. You can also introduce tiers, so you could add bundles or VIP options so customers feel in control. They've got the option to go bigger and go better or have a more fuller experience, for example. You can also use scarcity. So that is where you will say we have limited spots, or you set up early bird pricing to ease them into the pricing jump. This might sound obvious, but do an email announcement and share the why. We're adding new experiences, we're investing in staff, we're upgrading amenities. Let your customers know what's going on in your business without being too open, but this helps them see the value and not just the cost. Also, just sense check yourself before you might just raise your prices. Sense check how open you have to be about that with customers or people. Question 7 is, I don't have time for marketing. What's the quickest thing I can do? There are a couple quick wins, if you like, that you should probably look at optimizing first. So one quick win is to update your Google business profile. You can change photos, make sure your hours are up to date always. If there's a public holiday coming up, specifically, you want to have your specific hours around that. Offers, you can actually put a fair bit of information on Google business profile. So use it because that's going to help when people searching in Google. It is one of the first places travelers check. And when you update your photos, it does tell Google Business that, your profile is up to date and your business is still off and running and is current. The other thing you can do, which is a really quick win, is send an email to past guests with a simple invitation to book again. Even one rebooking can make the time worth it. And really, if you just get in the mindset of writing and sending an email, it can really pay off for you. Question 8, I think this is our last question. How do I stand out when there are so many operators in my region? Okay, the answer here is plant your flag. One story, one point of difference. Define your flagship story, why you exist, what makes you different, what makes you distinct. Sometimes you might even have businesses that do the exact same thing as you, but there will be something distinct about your business or your experience. And it could just be in the way you talk to your customer. It could just be in your marketing and communications, and the actual stay could be the same. There's so much competition out there. You don't necessarily have to be different. So take an Airbnb, for instance, or a boutique accommodation. There are lots out there to stand out, as well as, what we talked about before, setting up your own brand and being separate from the OTAs. Your actual experience, the accommodation that you provide, might not be any different to the one down the block. But how you show up online, how you communicate with your customers, even that can make a difference in itself in helping you actually stand out from all the competitors to be the one that people book. And then make that consistent across all your channels, your website and your social media and your emails, and people will feel the difference and they'll book and they'll rebook. The other thing while you're thinking about this is focus on the experiences, or as I said before, the transformation, not just the features. It's not transactional for your guests. They're coming for a good time. They're not coming just to have somewhere to lay their head for the night, for instance. A kayaking tour, it's not about the kayak. It's about the experience they have on the open water, paddling into silence, surrounded by dolphins at sunrise. Find your flagship story. This is how you're really going to stand out And by the way, Elevate Tourism has a whole pillar around building your unique story. So you can go and do this yourself. Go and sign up for the free trial at elevatetourism.com and go to Pillar U, Unique Selling Story, and you can develop your hero experience and your flagship story there. That's our last question, and that wraps up today's Q&A. That was fun. I hope we can do another one. If you do have any other questions that I haven't covered today, or this has sparked some more questions for you, please reach out to us. Hit subscribe so you can hear future episodes and our travel and tourism series. Share this with somebody who you think this will help, who needs clarity. And remember, you don't have to stay invisible. You can be irresistible.